Hi there, and welcome to workout number 1 for beginners for trimester 1. So today we're going to be starting off on the floor. The warm-up will be integrated into the actual warm-up. The first few exercises aren't going to be incredibly demanding other than mentally and deep activation. So they will function as a little bit of an activation, and as the workout becomes more challenging, you'll find that I'll incorporate some stretching that will get you prepared for the more functional and demanding movements near the end. So first thing we need to do, oh, by the way, all you're going to need today for today's workout, you're going to need access to a chair and a wall. So if you have those things, we're ready to go. First thing that I want you to do, we're going to talk a little bit about deep core activation and kegels. So that's your ability to activate the pelvic floor, the deep pelvic floor. What I'd like you to do is I want you to find a comfortable position and you're going to lie on the back. From here, what I want you to do is just bring your awareness to the lower pelvis area, and I want you to think about those muscles that you activate if you had to pee really, really bad, but there's no washroom around. So just for a count of 5, what I want you to try and do is to activate those muscles. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Now we have to double check that you're not squeezing your bum cheeks, so you need to be able to activate those deep pelvic floor muscles or those kegel muscles without squeezing your bum. So take your fingers and just tap your bum and try that core activation. Again, if you're not sure what you want to think about, have to pee really, really bad, or maybe try doing this with a full bladder next time, and activate those muscles. Go ahead and hold 1, 2, 3, holding for a count of 5, 4, 5. Double check your bum. Is your bum squeezed? And relax. Okay? So if you're confident that your bum is not squeezing, you can move your hands away. But if you were having the tendency to squeeze your bum, just keep poking it and try to relax. You're trying to relax your glutes, but you're trying to activate that deep pelvic floor. And again, activate, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. You should not feel any pooching of your stomach whatsoever. Basically, all you're going to feel, if you want to see if you're doing it right, take your 2 fingers, find your 2 hip bones at the front, draw in 2 centimeters approximately and down 2 centimeters. And when you try to fire that kegel, so to hold the P muscles, go ahead and do it. You should just feel a little bit of tension underneath those fingertips. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, so if that's enough information, I want you to do another about 5-second holds, 5 times 5-second holds on your own. Go for it. If you feel like you can handle another piece of information, what I want you to do in addition to doing the hold the P muscles is I want you to try and gently draw your belly button in. Hold the P muscles or the kegel is the most important part that you're firing, but if you can also gently draw your belly button in, holding for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release, that's a bonus. Let's do one more set. And go 5, 4, 3. Try to make sure your shoulders are relaxed, glutes are relaxed. 2, 1. Last one here. Ready. Hold the P and go. 5, 4. Shoulders are relaxed, glutes are relaxed. For a bonus, belly button is also drawing in, but you're breathing. 3, 2, 1, and release. So that's a very, very tricky thing when you're beginning. Probably a lot of you were holding your breath. As we continue through these videos, we'll continue to work on that, and you'll get better and better at it. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go on all fours, and we're going to do a prone kegel. So we're doing the exact same movement, we're just changing positions. The nice thing about this position, I find sometimes you can get a sense of what your belly is doing as well. So in addition to the kegel, we're going to try to focus on drawing the belly button up. So if you want, you can place one hand on the tummy, let the tummy just sag, so let the belly hang down. And first thing that I want you to do is to fire that kegel. Don't squeeze your glutes. So if you notice, there's absolutely no movement through my spine. Now, as you're holding that kegel, draw that belly button up away from your hand and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, and again, fire the kegel, draw the belly button up, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax everything. 2 more sets of 5. Kegel, belly button simultaneously if you can. Glutes are relaxed. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And one more set, and go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, so now that you're on all fours, I'm going to do a spine awareness drill. This is going to become important because we're going to be doing a hip hinging drill. And what you need to understand in the hip hinge is how to maintain a nice flat back. So a way that you can learn how to do a flat back is to move your spine through a different range of motion through its two extremes. Two extremes being extreme rounding, so I want you to round as much as possible, and then I want you to try and arch as much as possible. If you can find those two extremes and then find the middle position, which is a flat or neutral spine, that's very important when we're doing our hip hinge. And I'll show you that in a second where that becomes important. So let's just do about 5 of these. Tuck, exhale through the tuck, exhale that belly button right to the spine, and then inhale, arch, and exhale. Do this in front of a mirror a few times. If you're not totally sure that you're getting it, stop the video. You have a visual of what I look like as I'm doing this. Stop the video and go into the video and do this. This is a very difficult movement for a lot of people, but it is important that you understand how to move your spine through its range. And now what I want you to do is try to set yourself in a nice flat position and hold. So double check if you can. Take a look at yourself in the mirror and see if you've got a nice flat back. Okay, from here, I would like you to go onto your back. Palms are up. I want you to, if you can, for bonus, fire that kegel. And we're going to activate our glutes and our hamstrings. So hamstrings are here, glutes are right here. So kegel, belly button gently drawn in. Push off your heels and try to squeeze your glutes and hamstrings. So this time I do want your bum squeezed and I want your glutes and hamstrings working. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax down. Again, core activation. So kegel, draw the belly button in, bridge up, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So let's go a little bit quicker now. I want you to try to maintain core activation throughout this sequence of increased or quicker repetitions. So I've got my belly button in, I've got my kegel fired, and I'm lifting up and down at the top of the movement. I'm really trying to activate and squeeze those glutes. And what I want you to do, we're going to do, as soon as you start to feel fatigue in through here, see if you can get another 1 or 2 reps, and then just take a quick little break. I'm going to do about 5 more. If you start to feel a lot of effort happening through the low back, as opposed to the glutes and hamstrings, just take a quick little break and tuck your knees up to your chest. Let's go 3 more if you can. Feel free to take a stretch break if you need to, if you feel your low back is working harder than your glutes and your hamstrings. 1 more here. Okay, so now that we've got the glutes and hamstrings lit up, let's take you through your first advancement or your first progression of a deadlift. So what I want you to do is I want you to get onto all fours, and I want you to try and squeeze your glutes and hamstrings and pull your body up by activating here through here. Now why we did that cat-cow movement is you have to be very aware that you're keeping your body in a nice flat position throughout the movement, meaning from here, from my hip to my back is nice and flat. Set the core, squeeze the glutes to come up and back down. So if you're doing this properly, from this movement here, and if you find yourself having difficulty pulling your body up, get your hands a little bit closer to your knees and it's going to be easier. So first movement here, squeeze your glutes, stand up. I'm basically doing a pelvic thrust there. Hands a little bit closer to help me out if I'm finding it difficult. Squeeze and lift. I'm keeping my back nice and flat from my shoulders to my hips. Squeeze and lift. Good, let's go 5 of these. Now, if you're finding this too easy, what you do then is you take that same movement with your hands out a little bit further. It's a little bit trickier. It loads the hamstrings a little bit more. Glutes and hamstrings. Core in tight, squeezing up and lower down. You might start to feel like you're getting a little bit warm right now. 3. Let's go 2 more. 2. And last one. And 1. Let's do a quick little stretch. of our hip flexors and our hamstrings. So I want you to take one foot and I want you to bring it forward, and I want you to bring your back knee back, shoelaces are down, and what I want you to feel is a stretch in that back hip flexor. So I'm pushing my hip forward, so I'm feeling a nice stretch in my back hip flexor. Then from here, what I want you to do is to keep your chest nice and close to your knee, and I want you to reach back, and you should feel a nice stretch back and through here. We're going to go back and forth, just getting the hip flexor stretch, so that's the back of the thigh, and then the hamstring stretch. If you feel like you're not quite in the right position, sometimes what helps is if you take that back knee back an inch or two. The other option that you may want to do is to put something underneath your knee so that you have a little bit more cushion. When you're in the hip flexor stretch, try actively pushing your back shoelace into the ground. One more and then we'll switch sides. Okay, hands come on the inside of your leg and take your other foot around. Back knee back a little bit. Push your hips forward, shoelaces down. Push your hips forward until you feel a comfortable stretch in the back hip flexor, and hold 3, 2, 1. Keep your chest in contact with that front thigh. Reach your hips back. Nice stretch to that hamstring. And again, reach forward. 3, 2, 1. And back again, leading with that tailbone. When you're here, to get a little bit more increased stretch in that hip flexor, actively push your shoelace into the ground and come back. Okay, so we're going to go back one more time and repeat our kegel. So that whole little series we're going to do one more time. So you're lying on your back. We're doing our core activation, or your kegel deep core activation. Think of the hold the P muscles. Ready, fire the kegel, hold 5, 4, tap the glutes, 3, 2, 1, shoulders back and open, and relax. And again, hold the P and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I know it sounds ridiculous when I say that, but it's probably the most effective cue you can give a person. Okay, and again, hold the P, double check, glutes, nice and relaxed, belly button pulled in, shoulders back, 3, 2, 1, and release. And again, fire the kegel, belly button in, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One other item I'm going to throw at you here. What I want you to do with your spine is to make sure, imagine that your spine has got a little grape underneath it. And you've got the grape underneath your spine, and you're just gently pushing into that grape. You're not crushing it on the ground, you're just gently pushing into it. So set your spine in that position. Double check your glutes, they're relaxed, and now I want you to fire that kegel. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release everything. Little grape underneath the back. Shoulders are open, glutes are relaxed. Hold the P, go 5, 4, belly button in tight, 3, 2, 1, and release. Flip. Try from a prone position. If you're comfortable, you should be, if you're just in trimester 1, on your stomach. And you're going to try to hold, you're going to try to fire the kegel from this position. And now what you should be able to do, you'll get that instant feedback of your tummy pulling up off the ground. So first thing, fire the kegel, draw the belly button gently up off the ground. 5, hold 3, 2, 1. You shouldn't see any movement in my spine. So all that happens, you can see my stomach, all that happens from here is my tummy is relaxed down, and then when I draw it up, there's a little bit of a hollow here, but my stomach is still on the ground. My spine hasn't changed position. Hold 5, 4. Kegel fired. 3, 2, 1, and release. Let the tummy relax. You should feel it spread onto the ground. Hopefully you can hear me through my talking into the ground. So tummy is spread. Fire the kegel. Draw the belly button up. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release, tummy spreads. One more time, draw the belly button up simultaneously with the kegel. Shoulders are relaxed. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Up onto all fours. We're just going to do 5 repetitions of the cat-cow. So the point of this one, again, is to make sure you know how to set your spine when we do that hip hinge movement. Exhale, Inhale. Exhale. The spine awareness will become very important. This is one of the things that I'll probably bring back in trimester 3 when your low back is feeling really, really tight. This position here, the tuck, can really, and then if you wiggle your tail a little bit, that can really alleviate some tight low backs. Okay, onto your back. Let's pre-fatigue the glutes or pre-activate them. So glutes and hamstrings, palms are up, core tight, bridge up, squeeze the glutes, hold 1, 2, 3, and release down. And again, set the core, bridge up, hold 1, 2, 3, and down. Relax everything, set the core, kegel is fired, bridge up, 1, 2, 3, and relax. Okay, so now what I want you to do, set the core. We're going to do about 10 movements all in a row, keeping the glutes squeezed at the top of the lift. Core is activated all the way through, so I don't want you to release the core at the bottom here. Try to keep the glutes activated. Sometimes it helps people if they keep their toes off the ground, whatever works. 3, and 2. Okay, so glutes and hamstrings are pretty fatigued. Now what I want you to do is to flip over on all fours. We're going to do our hip hinge. Probably start with your hands a little bit close. Make sure from shoulder to hip is nice and flat. Squeeze the glutes, pull yourself up. So it's that little bit of a pelvic thrust. And back down. Squeeze. So pretty soon, in a couple of videos, we'll be doing this from a full standing position. And you'll feel your whole glutes and hamstrings working. So here, you should feel minimal effort through the back. Core is pulled in tight. Kegel is fired. And you should feel glutes and hamstrings working. Squeeze. And back down. And squeeze the glutes to lift up. And back down. Squeeze and lift. And back down. Squeeze and lift. And down. Let's go 3 more. Squeeze and lift. You really have to think consciously about squeezing those glutes and hamstrings in order to make sure that they're working. And last one here. Excellent. Okay, that's our first warm-up series. You should be relatively warm now. And we're going to go into our more functional movement. Our functional movement today is going to be the squat. First, we're going to just do a quick little wall flattener. So functional movement in terms of posture. Wall external shoulder rotation. So hands are going to be in this position. Palms are up. I'm squatting down so it's easy to get my low back up against the wall. I want you to imagine that you've got a couple of socks stuck underneath your elbows and you're trying to keep them there. And what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to touch my thumbs to the wall and then come back. My belly button is drawn in. I'm trying to fire that kegel. And as I try to touch my thumbs to the wall, I should feel the muscles in between my shoulder blades working. Double check, your elbows should be relatively close to your side body. Let's go 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, last one, and 5. Okay, go over to your chair, and we're going to do some squats. If you are more advanced than a typical beginner, and you can do them without the chair, feel free to do so. Feet are going to be shoulder width apart, and as you reach back, hands are going to come forward to counterbalance. Knees stay stacked over top of the toes, and as you come back up, what I want you to do is to focus on that hip hinge we were working. So core nice and tight, nice flat back going down. If you need to, take a little seat, and then on the way up, think push through your heels, squeeze the glutes and hamstrings, a little bit of a pelvic thrust to come up. From the side, squatting down, nice flat back. So notice, no rounding. There goes that flat back awareness as well. Core in tight, squeeze to come up. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. If you find that you can, what I want you to do is just hover the bum. So don't actually take weight on that chair, keep moving. Good. And squeeze up. So from here, I'm thinking, not flexing the quads, but I'm thinking squeeze the glutes and hamstrings. Squeeze, there's that hip hinge right there. Hinge through the hips, and then to come up, squeeze glutes and hamstrings. Core in tight, squeeze glutes and hamstrings, slowly back down. Squeeze glutes and hamstrings, slowly back down. Do 5 more if you can. If you need a break, take a break, and we're going back to the wall for one more set of wall external shoulder rotations. Good job. And squeeze to come up, last one. And squeeze to come up. Back over to the wall. External shoulder rotations. Palms are facing up, elbows in tight. Shoulders back, core in tight, low back gently pressed up against the wall. And you're trying to rotate those thumbs so you touch the wall behind you. Good. So in future videos, we'll be going through our beginning a lot quicker because the assumption is that you will already have a little bit of a handle on the core activation. So what I want you to do, repeat this video a few times before you go on to workout number 2. So the core activation becomes second nature. Now, these videos are great because they're free, but if you find that you need to seek a trainer nearby you for a couple of sessions to really make sure you're doing those Kegels right, the core activation, some basic movements, I highly recommend it. Make sure it's a good trainer, and it will be worth your money, I'm sure. You really want to make sure you're doing those correctly. And last one, and back over to the chair. And we're doing our chair squats again, core in nice and tight. Bum brushes, squeeze the glutes to come up. Bum brushes, I'm keeping that nice tall posture, core in tight. And I'm actively doing a little bit of a pelvic thrust to come up, so my glutes and hamstrings are doing the work. Squat and pelvic thrust up. Good. So somewhere between 12 and 20 reps, depending on what you feel you're capable of. Not sure where we're at. Let's say we're probably about 5 more to go, if you can. 2, 3, 4, last one, and 5. Good job. Okay, I'm just going to finish off with 2 stretches, and every week we'll build on some more stretches until you've got a nice repertoire. So take your chairs, just a variation of what we've already done in the warm-up, and I want you to stagger your stance. I want you to push your hips forward and get a nice stretch. What we're aiming for is a nice stretch in that back hip. Chair just gives me a little bit of assistance. You don't want to feel any sort of strain through the low back, but you're feeling that back hip. For some of you, if you tighten your hamstrings, you may feel a stretch here. If you feel like you're not getting enough of a stretch, actively push that back shoelace into the ground. We're going to hold for 30 seconds. Say that's been about 10. I'm going to hold for another 30. So like I say, just 2 stretches we're going to finish off the workout with. In the future, we'll be able to do more. And if you want, what I can also do is each workout I can keep the stretches relatively short, and then I'll put together another video, a longer series of stretches that you can do after every workout, should you have the time to. And release, and we're going to take it to the other side. So other foot comes forward, hinge forward. If you find it more comfortable balance-wise, like a lot of you will, to have the outside leg forward with the inside elbow on the chair for balance, you may want to turn around and do that. So now I'm stretching the right hip flexor, shoelace is actively pushed into the ground, belly button is pulled in tight, shoulders down and back. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go another 10 seconds. Make sure it's even on both sides. No loading through the back. Core is in tight. Maybe some light stretch in the hamstring. Because I'm balancing on my knee and my chair on the side, my low back should be relatively relaxed. To increase that stretch, I'm pushing into my shoelace and release. Okay, over to a wall. And what I want you to do with a 90-degree angle, I want you to place your body right in line with the wall. Hand is on the inside. And then gently pushing into the wall, angle your toes away, and I'm pushing towards this chest. I should be feeling a really nice stretch in through the chest. Shoulders are down and back, core is engaged. Now, for some of you, if you find there's any pinch in the shoulder, what you can do, move my mat here. What you can do is is you can take your hand into a low position and get a very similar stretch, but the shoulder is a little bit less in a slightly nicer position here for some people. If you can tolerate it, you're going to get a better stretch into the chest with the arm at 90, but if your shoulder doesn't like that position, go lower. And hold in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make sure in this stretch your shoulder girdle is square. It's not tilted one way or the other. Take it over to the other side, so 90 degree. Got a funny looking mat here in the background, sorry about that. 90 degree, pressing up against the wall, and gently angle away. Some of you are going to be able to angle more or less. You only go as far as you feel comfortable. So you're going to stretch in the pec muscle area here. Keep in mind, if you find, again, that 90 degrees is too much, you can take it to the low arm option. And we're finishing up with 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, that's just workout number 1. The workouts for the beginner level will get much faster and you'll be doing more things throughout, but it's really important to get the fundamental of that core activation in. So again, I recommend if you're not quite sure if you're getting it, go and seek some advice from somebody, a registered trainer, a qualified trainer, a physiotherapist who can really teach you to do that properly. And once you know how to do that, a lot of other things are going to become easier and it's going to become very important moving forward in your pregnancy. Have a great day and we'll see you next time.